My weight's gone down from 145 to 117. My energy levels have come up dramatically. I work out twice a week with a personal trainer. I do yoga almost every day for at least 30 minutes. I couldn't do that 5 months ago. My husband says I'm like a new person. I'm happy, but I think one of the best things is I enjoy eating again. It's a pleasure. No, it's more than that. It's a thrill. It's an adventure. I was first diagnosed as being pre-diabetic in late March of 2017. And the doctor I saw, she was rather indifferent about it. Oh, we'll look at it again in a year. It's no big deal. And, oh, you're hypertensive. And, oh, gee, yeah, your cholesterol levels are pretty high. But, everything's okay. And I knew that it was not okay. I have a family history of diabetes on my mother's side. Her father and her sister both were like type 1 diabetics. And I saw what happened to them. And so this being told I was pre-diabetic just freaked me out, really freaked me out like I had not been freaked out before. Because everything I had done with my diet was my attempt to avoid any chance of developing diabetes, because I knew, I had seen how awful a disease it is. And so this left me absolutely devastated. I was on a high-fat, high-protein, very low-carb diet. My energy was non-existent. I had really very little quality of life. I couldn't enjoy living in paradise. And this just absolutely left me crushed. I didn't know what to do. And from July until early November, I was in just deep depression, not knowing what to do, how to proceed. I couldn't function. And then I got an email from Ocean Robbins, and that sort of changed my whole life, inviting me to this webinar on diabetes and reversing diabetes, no less. And I believe that's how I first saw Cyrus and Robbie. I signed up on their mail list and started watching their videos. And I said, well, this sounds like something I should be doing. And it sounds like somebody's just throwing me a lifeline. And I felt I was going to have a second chance to restore some of my health. Maybe not all, but at least some of it. So I got started on trying to make a change in my lifestyle through my diet. I still wasn't able to exercise. I literally had no energy. My exercise was moving, getting up in the morning, and fixing my breakfast and retreating to the sofa. That was my life. My adrenals had failed. Everything was just crashing all around me. And so this at least was giving me some hope. And the more I listened, the more I heard, the more I understood, thanks to Cyrus, that I was right all along when I kept telling my healthcare providers, something is wrong with my diet. But what? What? Oh no, you have the perfect diet. This is perfect. I couldn't lose weight. My blood pressure was constantly going up. I had never had blood pressure problems before. And then the pre-diabetes on top of that. I started eliminating salt and oil in my diet. The salt was tough, but I was working on it. Oil was a lot easier. Sugar wasn't a problem because I didn't have any sugar in my diet. Immediately, I started feeling better and better and better. I just took it easy. I introduced my husband and friends to one of the Mastering Diabetes recipes for Christmas Day. It was sweet potatoes with curried peas and stuff like that, and date syrup or date sauce on top. Oh my gosh, everybody just raved. In fact, I didn't have enough everybody wanted more. So that was good. But I didn't really know how to cook in this style. I really had no idea, and I didn't even have the right equipment. But I started learning and learning. I was watching and reading all of the emails from Mastering Diabetes and attending their invitation videos. And I finally, in March, early March, said, okay, I'm getting my energy back. I'm really ready to go into this. And I signed up for Mastering Diabetes, and that was the best thing I ever did in my whole life, I think. People who know me and know what I've gone through over the past, say, 18 years, know what a change has taken place in my life. My weight's gone down from 145 to 117. My energy levels have come up dramatically. I work out twice a week with a personal trainer. I do yoga almost every day for at least 30 minutes. I couldn't do that 5 months ago. My husband says I'm like a new person. I'm happy, but I think one of the best things is I enjoy eating again. It's a pleasure. No, it's more than that. It's a thrill. It's an adventure. I mean, when I fix my breakfast each morning and invent my fruit bowl, I'm just like a kid playing with his most favorite toys. I'm just having so much enjoyment. And every bite is such a pleasure and puts a smile on my face. And I never had that feeling before. In fact, by the end of last year, I could barely eat because everything I was eating was making me sick. I could barely prepare something to throw on the barbecue because it smelled so bad to me. My body knew that what I was eating was wrong. I guess I was just too dense to see it. Kylie called me here at home right after I enrolled in the program to welcome me and make me feel part of a family. And I didn't feel alone. I'd been so isolated and so alone for so long because people just didn't understand what I was going through. When I joined Mastering Diabetes and they started talking about eating fruit, lots of fruit, not just eating fruit, but lots of fruit, I'm going, no, how is that possible? And that's when I started understanding what was going on as I was going through all the modules and watching all the videos and listening to Cyrus explain in the coaching sessions. It clicked and I'm going, I can do this. And so I started off with just a couple of fruits in addition to my berries. That went well. I mean, I had no indigestion, no sense of having overeaten or anything like that. And I think now for my breakfast, I typically have the berries with cereal, and I have a big bowl of some spinach and about 5 different fruits. I mean, I've grown to love mangoes. I never really cared much for mangoes before, but now I'm a mango fanatic. It's tough on the days when I don't have a ripe mango to put in my fruit bowl. So it's been a thrill to rediscover a joy of cooking. You know, I love fixing stews and chilies and all those good things. But my main love is my fruit bowl in the morning. I can't get enough of it. And whenever I feel like in mid-afternoon, a little low in energy, I'll pop a couple of dates. I mean, I'm a date fanatic now. I'd never really touched dates before. Oh, that's way too high in sugar. You can't do that. So now it was challenging to take that leap and trust these guys really know you signed up with them. They really do know what they're talking about. They're living proof they know what they're talking about. So it was a challenge, but boy, I embraced it, and it's really helped turn my life around. I've learned to exercise before I have breakfast. That was one of Cyrus's recommendations to help get a lot of benefit and help lower the blood glucose. And so I do that, and that just really sets me up for the day. And then I fix my breakfast, and it's typically a bowl of quinoa types as cereal or oatmeal with 2 thumbs of walnuts and at least a half a cup of blueberries. If they're really, really good, I'll make it 3/4 of a cup of blueberries. And I'll have that, and I have a big bowl. It's spinach, pineapple, mango, strawberries, raspberries, banana, kiwis, whatever I have handy. When we don't have mangoes available or pineapple, then I'll do apples and pears, kiwi. I have kiwi almost all the time because I like the color. So that's breakfast on just about every day. I have not grown bored with it. I feel good. One day I weighed the bowl, and then I weighed the fruit, and I had 1.5 pounds of fruit. I only eat 2 meals a day because it's just, I do the intermittent fast on a daily basis on a 16/8 schedule. So I found it too difficult to try to eat 3 meals a day. So I eat 2 meals, but breakfast, as you see, is the bulk of my calories and everything for the day. Dinner will usually be, my favorites are like a 3-bean chili with butternut squash, loaded with lentils, black beans, pinto beans, butternut squash, a lot of great spices. I may have a couple of organic, non-GMO corn tortillas. And I feel like, wow, this is the best in the whole world. And I just eat and eat and eat and make myself little tacos. I'll spoon some of the chili into the tortilla, and with a little bit of avocado and cilantro and green onion tops. And it's paradise. So I get plenty of protein. I get plenty of fat. Everybody is saying, but where does your protein come from? And I'm going, from just about everything I'm eating, from my oatmeal to my beans, my lentils, green peas. I mean, you name it. And so I'm just enjoying it. I don't see it as a sacrifice. That one of the things that I learned through Mastering Diabetes was how to manage social situations, and said planning for going out to areas or in a friend's home, making sure I bring something with me that I can eat, and then eating a little before I go out. I don't miss it at all. I don't feel deprived, and because a lot of people look at you and go, gosh, this is such a horrible sacrifice you're having to make. And I'm going, what sacrifice? My body loves this. I love it. I like the way I look. I haven't looked this good in 20 years. I said, this is the best thing in the world. You should all be on this. And I try not to preach. I'm really careful about that. But this has been an absolute joy. And I enjoy the coaching sessions. I don't really participate in Facebook, but I love looking at the posts now and then and realize how fortunate I am, because I am not as bad off as so many others. And I'm just glad I acted now and didn't listen to my doctor or just give up and say, well, what's going to happen is going to happen, because I know what would have happened. And now I have no fear. That is never going to happen to me. That is never going to happen to me. I've got my life back. The last test I had was in July of 17. I was tested in late March, almost the end of March, and it had gone down from a 5.9 A1C to a 5.2, with the average blood glucose of 123 down to 103. And then just huge drops in the cholesterol levels. Triglycerides went up, but I understand that from, my body is ridding itself of all of that excess fatty deposits. So I wasn't worried about that because all of the HDL, LDL, everything, and the total cholesterol was beautiful. I'd never had such good numbers. It's totally reversed. And when I check my glucose each morning, it's always below 100. I have no heart palpitations. My blood pressure is ideal. It's not just normal, it's ideal. It's in the 115 over 75 to like 119 over 77. So it's in a really sweet range. This was so easy. Once I realized I could control what was going to happen, our taste buds change and we adapt.